People living in East Wallingford were just miles away from some of the worst flooding in Vermont Monday afternoon. In their little town, routes 140, 155, and 103 were all at least partially closed down as the Mill River began spilling over its banks, making the roads unpassable.
Of the 4 directions we have to get out of here, 3 of them are blocked. We do have one way out, and it seems to be holding, so I'm not worried about going anywhere right now.
Many say this is the worst flooding they've seen in their lives, with some comparing it to Tropical Storm Irene.
Irene was, I think it was more abrupt. It came up a lot faster. And this seems to be, it's still cresting now. I don't even think it's hit its peak yet.
Not as bad as Irene so far. I mean, maybe a little bit worse, I'm not sure.
Many chose to evacuate the town and can only hope they come back to their homes still standing and still in livable condition later this week.
If the water goes up another foot, I'll probably lose that house, so hopefully I don't.
I think all I really have the strength to say is, Jessica, I love you. You were my best friend.
Tuesday morning, hundreds of people gathered in Castleton to honor the life of Jessica Ebbinghausen, a 19-year-old who dreamed of being a police officer since she was a little girl. Some remembered her through kind words, and others through cherished memories.
Jessica was so important to our family. Jess had the ability to be brutally honest, charming, adorable, and amazing all at the same time.
I remember seeing her with the team and witnessed both the joy and seriousness she exuded, always with a smile on her face. Jessica died a hero that day. She saved lives. She went towards the danger instead of going the other way. Jessica will always be remembered as a hero.
Throughout the service, notes of music echoed through the air and dozens of flags waved in the breeze following the presentation of the colors. The final speaker, one of Jessica's close friends, shared a poem with the audience, speaking from the perspective of Jessica herself.
I was living my best life. As your sweet student, your kind neighbor, and your spicy friend. As your dedicated police officer, your brave sister, and your beautiful daughter. This is not goodbye. This is until we meet again.
Officer Jessica Ebbinghausen, end of watch.
The funeral came to a close with a final call for Ebbinghausen over the police scanner, broadcast loud enough for the entire audience to hear.
You and your family will always be a part of our family. Officer Jessica Ebbinghausen is 10-7 for the final time. Your brothers and sisters have it from here.
Oh, it's so good to be back here.
These were the moments the parents of Hisham al-Ratani and Kinan Abdalhamid walked out of their gate and into Leahy BTV, sharing hugs with each other and with extended family who live in the U.S. A 36-hour journey halfway across the world, finally coming to an end.
I feel like I'm just
mixed feeling.
so excited to see my son, but also so very anxious to see him in his current condition.
For Ali al-Wartani and Elizabeth Price, their son Hisham sustained the most severe injuries of the 3 young men. A bullet lodged in his spine, jeopardizing his chance of ever being able to walk again.
I hope I will not collapse when I see him. And I have no words. I hope he will walk again.
Hisham's father shared some powerful words with us before walking out of the airport and heading to the hospital. He says what happened to his son and his 2 friends in Burlington is just a small part of a much bigger problem.
What happened to our kid is part of a larger crisis, and we hope the world will see it this way. Our kid is just one kid. We love him so much, but there are others that die every day, and no one even talks about it. So I hope that one day the world will start seeing our kids in Palestine equivalent to others, because the way we see it is a human soul is a human soul, no matter of the color or religion or the race. This is how we were raised, and this is what we believe as a family.
We're not used to the old Hollywood stuff going on here in Vermont.
For people living in East Corinth, it's been the summer of Beetlejuice, as work on a sequel to the original film has taken over the town. But this past Monday, something even scarier took control. Catastrophic flooding that looks like it came out of a movie itself nearly washed away parts of the town and Hollywood setup.
Maybe somebody said Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice too many times.
As the Waits River began spilling over its banks, parts of the town became the center of rescue operations. That includes East Corinth's only store, which sits right on the river and required extra flooding attention. What remains now is piles of sand and sandbags, but most importantly, the store still standing. And what's truly amazing about these tons, and I mean tons worth of sand and sandbags here, is they weren't here a couple of days ago. Community members from East Corinth and nearby towns all grouped together to put the sand here to make sure that East Corinth's only general store didn't get flooded out.
I just remember coming here and I just saw water all the way up through about knee deep, and I saw all the community of just volunteers just freely helping and shoveling sandbags, trying to protect the store.
In what some call a miracle, the store survived completely undamaged as the sand was poured just in time to create a strong enough dam.
It was definitely very important that nothing got in there. It would have been an expensive fix.
They needed dump trucks and all hands on deck to get sandbags made to save the store. And thank goodness we all banded together.
For other parts of town, the water came up just high enough to where it didn't flood, sparing dozens more buildings and the red-covered bridge on the Beetlejuice 2 set. As shown in these photos taken by people living in East Corinth, filming was finally able to start Tuesday and just wrapped up early Thursday.
You wouldn't even know that there had been a flood going on all around the Beetlejuice set.
For now, it's a happy ending in the small Orange County town, but locals are hoping the additional rain in the forecast doesn't recreate the near-tragic scenario.
I'm definitely a little worried about the water rising again with this current rain, but I'm hoping it'll stay just the way it is and not have the same issue.
In East Corinth, Matt Holderman, ABC 22 News.
Say again? Yeah.
It was certainly like no time to waste. Time was of the essence. So I was just thinking about getting in there, grabbing her, and getting out. This is the job I signed up to do, and I just happened to be there first to, complete the task at hand.
Despite having saved the life of an 8-year-old girl who fell into an icy pond, Vermont State Police Trooper Michelle Archer wouldn't describe herself as a hero. She says she was simply doing her job that day, doing what she was trained to do. But to many of her peers, to people across the nation, and certainly to that little girl's family, Trooper Archer is a hero, and her courageous act is now being recognized through a nomination to one of the most prestigious awards in law enforcement.
Things like this happen every day across the country. For whatever reason, this is the story that took hold and got the attention that it did. So it's an honor to be a part of that.
2 months later, Trooper Archer can still perfectly recall every detail from that Sunday morning. She was on patrol in Cambridge and saw the ice rescue call come up on her screen, realizing quickly that she happened to be just down the road from the pond. When she arrived, one child had already been pulled to safety, but a nearby homeowner informed her the situation was still dire.
So she told me that there's still one in there. And at that point, something just took over, whether training, instinct, probably a little bit of both. And I just acted. So I grabbed the throw rope that you see in the video. It's department issued. Ran over to the pond and actually dropped my duty belt. I knew that would probably weigh me down, and I just entered into the pond.
In a matter of just 30 seconds, Trooper Archer was in and out of the pond, putting her own life at risk in the process. And her fellow trooper Keith Cody was right there to pick up the young girl and rush her to an ambulance.
I didn't feel how cold it was on the scene. It wasn't until after, if you watch the video, you can hear my breathing changed. I didn't notice that until I watched the video myself.
In the following weeks, the girl Trooper Archer pulled from the water made a full recovery, and the two of them had the chance to properly meet for the first time.
Trooper Cody and I had the opportunity to meet with her and her parents. They actually came here. It was a good reconnection. She was a little shy at first, but came around towards the end. So,
in her 6 years with Vermont State Police, Trooper Archer says this case now stands alone in her head as the most memorable she's ever responded to. And after an incident last summer where she wasn't able to save a child's life, she says being able to successfully do it this time around means even more.
You know, Trooper Cody and I also responded. If you remember the incident at Smugs last summer, we both responded there, and unfortunately, it wasn't the happiest of endings. So this one, to see it through and get that happy ending and see everything's okay, that was a relief.
Now, in just over 1 month, Trooper Archer will fly to San Antonio, Texas for the IACP Awards banquet on March 14th, where she will learn if it is her or one of the other 3 finalists who will be taking home the award. Reporting in Williston, Matt Holderman, ABC 22 News.